For months, masked federal agents have aggressively engaged with protesters in several states while carrying out the president's immigration directives. Shooting pepper balls into faces, using cars to move people, and even employing chokeholds on protesters, tactics endorsed by President Trump.
Americans have been watching videos of ICE tackling a young mother, tear gas being used in a Chicago residential neighborhood, and the smashing of car windows. Have some of these raids gone too far?
No, I think they haven't gone far enough because we've been held back by the judges, by the liberal judges that were put in by Biden and by Obama.
You're okay with those tactics?
Yeah, because you have to get the people out.
This sweeping multi-agency immigration campaign is spearheaded by the Department of Homeland Security and led by U.S. Customs and Border Protection Commander-at-Large, Gregory Bovino.
If someone strays into a pepper ball, then that's on them.
We wanted to find out, what do these confrontations reveal about the shifting tactics within ICE, CBP, and HSI? We asked Eric Balliet, a 25-year career federal agent who most recently led investigations into use of force misconduct for ICE, to tell us what he sees.
This isn't policing and law enforcement as I practiced it for 25 years.
Here's what we found out. In recent months, we've witnessed federal agents firing pepper balls and other less than lethal munitions downward into crowds from elevation, despite the fact that CBP guidance prohibits agents from intentionally targeting the head, neck, spine, or female breast. In this September incident, federal agents at the Broadview facility are seen standing several stories above protesters, who appear largely peaceful. We can see pepper balls exploding around the demonstrators. And then one man is struck in the head, a tactic Balliet says is not in line with training.
Pepper balls and less than lethal munitions, in my training experience, are never shot at the head, neck, or solar plex area. So to have these rounds impact someone in the face, in the head, in the neck, runs the risk of serious injury, death, or unintentional consequences. My professional assessment is that they are elevating the force to a degree that is excessive.
We sat down with the commander-at-large of the operation, Gregory Bovino, just a few feet away from where this incident actually happened, to ask him directly about his federal agents' actions. Chief, I do want to show you some of what I'm talking about. I'm curious if that is proper use of force.
Sure, absolutely. The use of that less lethal device, a pepper ball, was absolutely in line with policy, and I applaud them for protecting that federal facility there.
Aiming above the waist is within policy?
It can be. If someone strays into a pepper ball, then that's on them. Don't protest and don't trespass. And the use of force that I've seen has been exemplary.
You think use of force here at Broadview has been exemplary?
I do.
Next, we looked at videos of pepper spray, also known as OC spray, being deployed into protesters' faces, which DHS policy says can be deployed if a subject is offering active resistance. In this video from Portland, a federal agent walks up to the protester and sprays a large can of OC spray directly at her face from roughly 2 feet away. We can tell from the size of the can and the cone shape of the spray that it's intended to disperse a large crowd, not to target individuals.
I think for this particular one, it's a little disturbing because there does not appear to be any sort of de-escalation attempt. If you take direct shots to the eye, it can scratch or pick your cornea. All of these situations are tense. There's a lot of emotions on both sides. But at the end of the day, you're a law enforcement professional. You are expected to have thick skin. You are expected to be able to withstand being accosted verbally, being called names, things like that.
On October 9th, a federal judge ordered immigration agents to stop deploying riot control weapons, including pepper spray, against peaceful protesters. Just days later, agents were captured in this video firing tear gas in another Chicago neighborhood. Do you feel like any of your agents defied court orders by deploying CS gas after the order came down?
I'm not going to let any violence be perpetrated against any federal agent or any federal officer. So any use of force was well within CBP policy.
But what about potentially deadly force aimed at protesters?
Out of the road!
Federal agents have been filmed driving cars to move protesters, a move that Balliet characterizes as deadly force, or an action that carries a substantial risk of causing death or serious bodily injury.
Wow, someone's hanging off the car. Oh my God.
These vehicle maneuvers are extremely difficult and troubling to watch. You could go from zero to lethal in a blink of an eye.
In this video taken in Chicago in October, a federal agent in an unmarked car is seen driving into a protester in the street. As you can see in the video, traffic doesn't seem to be impeded. Other cars are passing freely on the passenger side of the federal agent's car. There's even another officer directing traffic, suggesting there are other avenues for the vehicle to move. Once the vehicle makes contact, the agent engages with the protester.
I'm gonna slam you on the ground.
The vehicle in an offensive use in of itself rises into that deadly force arena. It raises the risk level for both the agent, officer, general public, and any sort of suspect exponentially.
As you can hear, there's also confusion as to who is driving in the car since it's unmarked.
Who are you? Get out of the way. Who are you?
Who are you? One asks, which poses additional risk for officers, agents, and bystanders.
I can't stress enough the significance and importance of markings. So when I see like the lack of markings on approaches, on arrests, it is extremely troublesome.
The final tactic we're going to look at is hands-on contact between protesters and federal agents. Specifically, the use of chokeholds, which are explicitly prohibited by DHS because they can become deadly so quickly. In this video, also from outside the Broadview facility, we see a protester stand in the way of a police vehicle, surrounded by a special response team, or SRT.
So these guys are probably already amped up, tense situation. I get that. But you're talking about one female. There's at least 6 or 7 look like SRT guys, given their headsets and camo stuff.
When the woman is pushed to the ground, we see pepper balls exploding on the pavement around her. Once again, law enforcement is shooting from elevation towards the neck and head. This poses a danger to the officers as well, at least one that can be seen not wearing a helmet, which puts him at risk from the officers shooting from overhead.
So again, tactically, why do you have a face mask and no helmet? If you're in that situation, you're wearing a helmet. If you don't have that protection, then you're useless. These guys are like hodgepodge. I'm not trying to Monday morning quarterback this stuff, but tactically makes 0 sense.
Towards the end of the video, we see the agent place the protester in a chokehold, considered lethal by DHS, before being pulled away by another officer.
And the fact that this dude, who I'm confident is an ICE, probably ERO, SRT guy, comes up behind an unarmed female and puts her in a chokehold, like just straight up forbidden. That gets into the lethal force arena. If that was the team that I served on, that dude would be off it 30 seconds after it happened.
We see a similar tactic in this other video taken in Chicago in October.
I had a buddy of mine, he actually sent me this video, and his comment was, Border Patrol is out of control.
In this video, the protester has his hand on the small of his back.
There's nothing that agent is going to be able to do to stop that attack if that guy in the jeans and white shirt had a weapon in the small of his back. Not once did I hear anybody tell that guy to show me his hands.
Instead of creating distance, the federal agent moves closer to the protester. The agent slings his gun around his back, whereby he no longer has control on the muzzle of his weapon. The agent then places his hands on the protester.
There is not a defensive tactics class that I've been at or a force-on-force scenario that I've been through where that is an acceptable use of physical force. And the fact that that weapon, that M4 is just flailing around, muzzling his agents, muzzling the crowd, basically begging some bad actor to grab it. It's good that somebody didn't get extremely hurt or killed in this. That is not crowd control. That is not de-escalation. There is nothing de-escalatory about this scene in any way, shape, or form.
What happens to federal agents who don't follow the use of force policy? According to DHS, they'll be subject to all applicable administrative and criminal penalties. But according to Bovino, no one has been disciplined yet, at least in Chicago. Do you believe anyone has acted outside of policy?
Absolutely not.
In a statement to CBS News, DHS said federal agents are trained to use the minimum amount of force necessary to resolve dangerous situations to prioritize the safety of the public and themselves. But for Balliet, the lack of accountability from leadership may impact law enforcement's ability to do its job in the future.
My worry is that this is going to have an irreparable harm to the trust and faith that the general public has in its law enforcement officers. It is creating a divide that is going to take years, if it can ever be fully repaired.